Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you once again for joining me on this very special video. The topic that we talk about today is very close to my heart, and I'm sure you will understand why, because we all go through this particular process. And what process am I talking about? Dealing with inner obstacles. Many a times I have clients, prospective clients, who come to me and say, Coach Asanda, things are not working the way they're supposed to be working. You know, my business is not reaching the market share that I wanted to reach. Clients are not picking up to the services I'd hoped they would, etc., etc. And when I ask, what would you attribute this lack of progress to? A lot of the times, I'd say about 98% of the times, people say it is the external environment. So they will quote things like, circumstances are not good, the economic climate is not good, you know, people are just not nice, they don't like this, etc., etc. And it is very rare that people look within themselves as to why they are not succeeding the way they'd want to succeed. And why is this important, you may be asking? Well, it is a whole lot easier to deal with external obstacles. Because once you identify that it is the economic climate, then you've got one of two things. You either proceed, albeit the bad economic climate, or you find a place where the economic climate is not as bad. Simple. But then when you're dealing with inner obstacles, and by inner obstacles I mean issues like fear, procrastination, self-doubt, it takes a very heightened level of self-awareness to be able to understand that these feelings are natural. These feelings happen to every single individual on this planet. When you see successful people, they do have the anxiety, they do have the stress, the fear. But the difference is, what do you do with it? That sets us apart from people who are great achievers. So I say to people that yes, you're not doing well, but could it be because you are not making the right number of calls you should be making, for an example? And yes, I'm making all the calls someone would answer, but you'll find that the number of calls, for example, that person is making will not translate to business growth. They are not making those calls because they are afraid of rejection. They are afraid of what the other person on the other end will say. And it is very important at that particular moment to actually understand that to fear rejection is normal. I wouldn't want anyone to say I don't have those feelings, because that would not be the truth. I have fears. But the difference with me and people who acknowledge these feelings is that we use these feelings as a way of propelling us into better things and into challenging ourselves out of our comfort zone. So the first step that I would advise people to take when they suspect they have this inner turmoil in them when it comes to success is identify and name that inner obstacle. Name it. If it's fear, call it by fear. If it's stress, call it by stress. But then take it a step further and say, why am I feeling this way? Am I feeling fear because I'm afraid that I will fail? Some people are actually afraid of success. But when you actually can attribute that feeling, then it becomes a whole lot easier to deal with. And it doesn't end there. Yes, you've identified why you have the feeling, but then you need to say, how is this feeling serving me in what needs to happen? So the fear for making calls could be saying to you, you need to prepare more. So your current level of preparation is not good enough. You need to understand your business more, you need to do this, because once you are more prepared, you are more confident to articulate what it is that you need to articulate. And the last thing that I would advise people to do is always appreciate that every feeling that comes from you, every feeling that's in you, it's trying to tell you something. If it's stress, it's trying to tell you that you're going too fast, work-life balance is becoming key. Procrastination is telling you that might not be a priority for you, but then we need to be able to identify those indicators and know what it is that they're trying to tell us. And only then are we better prepared to face the challenges and actually deal with why we are not succeeding. So for me, it's more important to say, yes, I know I'm not succeeding, and this is the role I am playing in enabling me not to succeed. So unless you own up to your inner obstacles, it becomes very difficult to run a successful business and to be a successful business leader, because we must admit, people want to follow a genuine leader, and a genuine leader in my book is someone who embodies a vision. It's someone who is able to influence. Thank you very much for joining me on this one. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you did derive some value and understand that it is important to name and shame your inner obstacles. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, where you will get more videos that will empower you to take the journey ahead, and also for you to engage with me. Send me comments, ask me questions, and don't forget to suggest on topics that we may be talking about next time around. Thank you once again.